Now at 4, a family tragedy. A 25-year-old man is under arrest after his mother, a beloved school teacher, was found dead in her home last night. Good afternoon. This is the KTLA 5 News at 4. I'm Samantha Cortese.
And I'm Lauren Lister. Today, a school district is left in shock, and a husband is left with so many questions.
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade joins us live from Burbank with more on this investigation. Hi, MB.
Hi there, you guys. And yes, as you can see behind me here, people have begun to leave flowers in honor of Karen Lombardo, just a much-loved teacher here at Bret Harte Elementary. And we also spoke with her husband, who describes her as a magnificent person who loved to a fault.
It's, I think, initially, I was just thinking, what a loss to the world.
Vince Lombardo is talking about 57-year-old Karen Lombardo, his beloved wife of 31 years, the mother of their 2 adult children, and popular kindergarten teacher at Bret Harte School.
She's been a teacher in Burbank for over 30 years and has a significant following in Burbank. A lot of kids, a lot of people. I always call her the unofficial mayor of Burbank.
Vince says he last spoke to his wife last night, just before 10 o'clock.
Yeah, last night I was off in the mountains up in Lakewood, Lake Arrowhead, and then text everything's fine, and then expected to see her today, and then I got the call.
That call, he says, was from the Burbank Police Department. They broke the tragic news to him that right after their goodnight text, the couple's 25-year-old son, Kyle, had gotten into some sort of altercation with Karen in the family home and killed her.
She's a magnificent person, and I think anybody that you would see that there's, I think she's too kind to it's a fault.
Unfortunately, Vince tells us that his son, who lives with them, suffers from mental illness, and police have had to be called to their home before.
It's a reactionary system, and that's basically what I was told. Until something happens, they can't do anything. There's not enough help to help these people, especially when they become adults.
He explains because they still have the mind of an 8 or 12-year-old and don't understand the consequences.
She loved him more than anything, and tries to help him, and all of the students love her. I mean, coming through the system here, there are students that became teachers because of her.
Well, Burbank Unified released an emotional statement this evening, saying in part that her dedication, warmth, and passion for teaching touched many students, colleagues' lives, and her profound impact and loss on this community will be deeply felt throughout the city of Burbank. And that's going to do it for us here in Burbank for now. Mary Beth McDade, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Mary Beth, thank you. It's a case a U.S. attorney is calling a massive theft and deception. Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter has agreed to plead guilty to 2 federal charges for stealing from the Dodger player's bank account. Ippei Mitsuhara is accused of stealing nearly $17 million from Ohtani. Federal prosecutors say Ohtani was the victim of fraud on a massive scale, and now Mitsuhara will plead guilty to exploiting his professional and personal relationship with the pitcher, even setting up Ohtani's bank accounts using his own contact information and withdrawing millions over the past few years. According to the Justice Department, Mitsuhara took advantage of his position of trust to take advantage of Mr. Ohtani and fuel a dangerous gambling habit. That habit included placing around 19,000 bets from December 2021 to January of this year, ranging from $10,000 to $160,000 each. Mitsuhara could face more than 30 years in federal prison under the plea deal.
We are following breaking news out of Granada Hills, where traffic is still backed up on the 5 freeway after a semi-truck fire.
Gil Levis in Sky 5 with details. Hi, Gil.
Hi, Sam and Lauren. Yes, the cleanup and the SIG alert still remains in effect right now as I zoom in. These 2 big rigs collided just after noon today. Let's go to some video that was shot from the air from Sky 5. I can tell you that one of the big rigs caught fire. The big rig that was full of meat, that truck burned all the way to the ground. The other truck went off the side of the road. Now, one of those truck drivers was burned severely and transported to a local hospital. His condition at this point is unknown right now, but as we come back to the crash here, you can see the big rig here off the side of the road, and the other one burnt all the way to the ground. I can tell you that the 5 freeway southbound is a mess. The backup starts at McBean Parkway. Also, the 14 southbound is impacted as well from Newhall Pass. I'm sorry, from Newhall Avenue, but let me show you that backup on the southbound 5 freeway. It is completely jammed now. The northbound 5 is heavy from the 118 as well as the 405 northbound. That's due to looky-loo traffic from this accident, but look at that mess in the Newhall Pass. It is just jammed there on the southbound 5 freeway as well as that 14 freeway, and that SIG alert was put into effect for 8 hours from the time of the crash, so we're going to try to get an update on how long that SIG alert is going to be in effect here. The good news is the crash is on the truck lanes and not on the main lanes of the 5 freeway, so traffic is moving past the crash here. But again, 2 big rigs collided here, one on fire that burned all the way to the ground. Now the cleanup is underway. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Brutal traffic there, Gil. Let's hope it clears up soon. Thank you. A new campaign kicks off to get drivers to slow down on PCH in Malibu. This comes after nearly 60 speeding deaths on the scenic roadway in the last 14 years. One of the most horrific, 4 Pepperdine students hit and killed last year while walking on PCH. The Go Safely PCH campaign will allocate millions of dollars to make the corridor safer for people walking, drivers, and bicyclists. It includes infrastructure safety upgrades, increased enforcement, and safe driving education.
When the word gets around, the speed racers will back off. I hope so. Malibu has become a raceway, attractive to people who can speed and race and do foolish things.
Last year alone, there were 220 crashes along the 21-mile stretch of PCH that runs through Malibu.
A peaceful pro-Palestinian protest paves the way to an unusual agreement at Occidental College before the school's commencement ceremonies.
The college's board of trustees will vote on whether to divest from Israeli interests. KTLA's Jean Kang joins us live from Eagle Rock with details of this alleged deal. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Sam and Lauren, to both of you. Well, protesters have agreed with the university to take down their camps as well as their signs. This is the second major university here in Southern California. However, demonstrators say this is not the end for them just yet.